In this lesson, you will learn to write equations in point-slope form and to convert those equations into slope-intercept form. Point-slope form is the equation y minus y sub 1 equals m, and in parentheses, x minus x sub 1. A line has a slope of m and passes through the point x sub 1, y sub 1, where m is the slope of a line and x sub 1 is the x value of the ordered pair, and y sub 1 is the y value of the ordered pair. So given the point 2, 3 with a slope of 5, we have our one ordered pair, so our 2 is our x value, or x sub 1, and 3 is our y value, or our y sub 1. So given the equation of point slope, we are going to plug in these values. So y minus our y sub 1 is 3 equals our slope of 5 for m, and in parentheses x minus x sub 1, which in this case is 2. When we are working to convert point slope form into slope-intercept form, we need to isolate y. So our first step then is to distribute the 5, and then we can solve for y. So when we distribute 5, we end up with y minus 3 equals 5x minus 10. And then we are continuing to isolate y, so we need to do the inverse operation of subtracting 3. So we would add 3 to both sides, and we get y equals 5x minus 7. So given the point -3, -2 with a slope of -2/3, our x value of our ordered pair is -3 and our y value is -2. When we plug these values into point slope form, we have y minus our y sub 1 is -2 equals our slope of -2/3, and in parentheses x minus our x sub 1, which is -3. When we have this opposite of a negative or minus a negative, we can rewrite that equation as y plus 2 equals -2/3, and in parentheses x plus 3. Our next step in our work to convert point slope into slope-intercept form is to distribute the -2/3 to both terms in the parentheses. So when we do that, we would have y plus 2 equals -2/3 x, and -2/3 times a positive 3 would leave -2. We are still continuing to isolate y, so the inverse operation of this addition of 2 is to subtract 2 from both sides. And so our equation in slope-intercept form is y equals -2/3 x minus 4. Here are 2 more practice problems for you to try on your own. So pause the video and work out these 2 practice problems. When you are finished, push play to check your answers. So given the point -5, 6 with a slope of -1/5, when we plug those values into point slope form, the equation would be y minus 6 equals -1/5, and in parentheses x minus -5. This minus -5 could also be written as y minus 6 equals -1/5 times the quantity of x plus 5. Our next step is to distribute the -1/5. So The equation would then be y minus 6 equals negative 1/5 x minus 1. To continue to isolate y, we need to add 6 to both sides of the equation, and then we are left with y equals negative 1/5 x plus 5. Given the ordered pair 4, 5 with a slope of 2, when we plug those values into the equation, we have y minus 5 equals 2 and in parentheses x minus 4. Distribute the 2, and so we are left with y minus 5 equals 2x minus 8. Add 5 to both sides, and y equals 2x minus 3. So in these problems, we are using point-slope form of the equation to identify a point the line passes through and the slope of the line. So given the equation y minus 9 equals negative 2/3 and in parentheses x minus 7, we want to identify a point on the line and the slope of the line. So given the equation y minus y1, we can recognize that our y value is the 9, and in the equation x minus x sub 1, that our x value is the 7. So as an ordered pair, we would write this as 7, 9. We can then notice that our slope is the m in the equation. So our slope in this equation is negative 2/3. Given the equation y plus 6 equals negative 4 and in parentheses x minus 8, based on the point-slope form of the line, we have y minus y1. So for this equation to be y plus 6, that means that it would have to be y minus negative 6 for that minus negative to change to a positive. So that means our y value of our ordered pair will be negative 6. Our x value in this case is 8. So our point then is 8, negative 6. Our slope is in front of the parentheses, which in this case is negative 4. In the equation y minus 5 equals 3/4 and in parentheses x plus 2, our point, then, we are looking for our x value. So if we have x plus 2, that means that this would have been x minus negative 2. So our x value would be negative 2, and our y value is 5. So negative 2, 5, and a slope of, our slope is right here, so a slope of 3/4. Given the equation y plus 2 equals 3 and in parentheses x plus 1, so our x value, same situation as the previous problem. So if we have x plus 1, that means it was originally x minus a negative 1. So our x value will be negative 1. And we have the same situation with our y value. So y plus 2 means that that started as y minus negative 2. So our point or ordered pair would be negative 1, negative 2. And our m, our slope of the line, is 3. In the equation y plus 3 equals 2 and in parentheses x minus 5, our x value is 5. And our y value, if we have that y plus 3, it's the same as y minus negative 3, so our y value is negative 3. And our slope is 2. In the equation y minus 7 equals negative 5/2 and in parentheses x minus 6, our x value of our ordered pair is 6, our y value is 7, and we have a slope of negative 5/2. In this set of examples, The directions are write the point-slope form of the equation with the given slope that passes through the indicated point. So when our goal in this case is to write the equation in point-slope form, as opposed to when we first started and we wrote it in point-slope and converted it to slope-intercept form. So these problems, we are just going to write them in point-slope form and not take them any further. So if we are given the ordered pair negative 2, 4, and our m equals negative 1/3, we have our equation of point slope, so y minus our y value, which is 4, equals our m, or our slope, is negative 1/3, and in parentheses x minus our x value, which is negative 2. Remember, we can also write this as x plus 2, so this would be the same as y minus 4 equals negative 1/3, and in parentheses x plus 2. This is the equation in point-slope form, so we don't need to take this any further. If we are given the ordered pair 4, 1 with a slope of negative 2, if we were to plug this ordered pair into the equation, we would have y minus our y value, which is 1, equals our slope, which is negative 2, and in parentheses x minus our x value, which is 4. There isn't anything else that we can simplify within this equation to still leave it in point-slope form, so that would be our answer. With the ordered pair negative 5, negative 6, and a slope of 3, when we plug these values into the equation, we would have y minus negative 6 equals 3, and in parentheses x minus negative 5. This minus negative, or opposite of negative, in both of those cases, we can rewrite that as y plus 6 equals 3, and in parentheses x plus 5. So in this lesson, we have learned point-slope form, learned to plug an ordered pair into the equation as well as the slope, and also convert point-slope form equations into slope-intercept form.